I mean, the guy we are, the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir.
Nipsey Hussle.
What up?
What's up, my brother?
What's the deal, bro?
Now, I don't know nothing about LA politics, but are you allowed to wear that much red?
I can do what I want, man. Plus, this my shit. This my brand, so
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like how red look with gold, you know what I mean?
Do people trip like that with the colors you wear, or?
It depends. Like, again, everybody know who I am as far as where I belong. So, you know, I be seeing like internet comments sometime when I be flamed up, but in LA, you know what I mean? We grew up, if you was a real one, you could wear what you want. That shit don't really apply, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Is it still heavy like that, though?
I mean, it's like if I'm in somebody else's hood with a gang of red on, and I'm not a known face, and I'm in a Crip hood, yeah, I probably get addressed.
Gotcha.
But I don't think I had that problem. They be like, that's Nip, you know what I'm saying?
Now,
Well, congratulations on the album. I got
Finally, man.
Yes.
Finally.
Victory lap.
Yeah, Victory Lap in stores. Go grab that, stream that, all that.
This
You
don't
had
even
something
seem
to prove
fair.
on Victory Lap, man.
I had to. It took too long, right?
You had a lot to prove on that album.
Yeah, I did.
Let's talk about it now. The album is dope, first and foremost.
Thank you.
I love the album.
Thank you.
Heard it on the West Coast when I was there for All-Star Weekend.
It's only right.
And then I heard it here. It didn't sound the same. The snow didn't make me feel West Coast when I got back home.
Right.
But seems like on the album, you really proven that, you know, I hear a lot that you don't like weirdo rappers.
Facts.
You don't like weirdo. Now, what's a weirdo rapper to you?
Well, I think you talking about the line when I was like, this ain't this weirdo rap you motherfuckers used to. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, I felt pressure a little bit from where the game is at, and that ain't no diss to nobody specific, just like it ain't in the direction of what we grew up on in terms of like, you gotta say something, you know what I mean? You gotta be a man of respect or a woman of respect, you know what I mean? Even from like just the drug stuff, like, you know, that was never glorified in rap culture. We could almost like live by Scarface or Jay-Z or Tupac lyrics if we ain't had no principles like a man around. We could live by their lyrics and come out as a solid individual. So that's what I meant, just as far as like, you know, just returning to that direction. I don't know like telling people what to do, but just, you know, try to represent the principles that I grew up on in rap music.
That's one thing I like about your music. It always has socially redeeming value to it. And on dedication, you know, Kendrick said that his man L said, do a song with Nip, he a better Crip, but Kendrick said he a man first.
Yeah.
You know, you hear what he speaks about from black businesses, the false imprisonments, and he said, listen close is bigger than deuces and fours. So is that a challenge for you to get people to see you for more than a stereotypical West Coast gangster rapper?
I think that, I mean, people receive me based on what I said. So I wouldn't blame people for that. I came in and said, this is where I'm from and this is what I represent. But it was for a reason. I wanted to establish, you know, what I belong to. And I looked at it like jail. That's what I used to tell my homies, because even some of my homeboys would be like, bro, you can't come out talking about the hood specifically, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, you know, when you walk into a dorm, the first thing you establish is where you from. And then from there, you get into the person behind this, just in case whoever got a problem with this, wherever your enemies is, you go to the back, you handle your business, and then you get into like, okay, I could actually fuck with you. You know what I mean? We get to know each other, but you get that out the way first. And so, also I wanted my message to impact gang culture. You know what I'm saying? I wanted what I had to say to impact individuals like myself, young people that was in these areas that was controlled by gangbanging. I didn't want to preach to the choir, but I wanted to be able to say, you know, I'm one of you, and where I'm gonna go, wherever I end up, you gonna know that you can end up there too. Whether it's at the top of the game or in a successful situation as a business owner, I came from this, and it's authentic, and I'm not on the outside of this culture. That's why I came in like I came in. I wasn't trying to like be on no super tough guy shit, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be clear that, you know, wherever I take it, I'm not different. I'm exactly the same. I've been through everything you've been through or you're gonna go through as somebody in that culture.
What is a better Crip? What does that mean?
I think what Kendrick, I don't know because I ain't said, but what I would assume Kendrick meant was that, you know, somebody that is not 100% biased or outside of communicating with a blood or somebody from the other side of the tracks. Maybe that's what he meant. That's what I took it as, you know. But we had to ask Kendrick his take on what he meant by that.
Or,
What I've always appreciated about you is that you've always been an entrepreneur, and it does come through a lot on this album also. Just a lot of things you've done, having your own clothing line, having your own agency, and then your whole thing with the cryptocurrency that I was reading about that you've invested in, and you want other people to be able to invest as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's important because when I first met you, I always say this, you were really like at music industry seminars and summits and making sure you knew the business because you've been independent for so long. Yeah. So it makes it time to step when you do a major label deal with Atlantic Records and you know exactly what's going on with your business. And that's so important, something that a lot of people need to focus on.
What made you go back to the label though? You know, because she mentioned that, and you know, when I was at Def Jam, we were trying to get you to stay at Def Jam, and you wanted out.
I was at Epic. I was at Epic.
That's right, when I was at Epic. Yeah. And you wanted out. And we were trying to get you to stay. Like, what made you have that vision so early? Because when you were signed, this is when independent was looked down upon.
Absolutely.
So what made you see that vision, and then what made you go back to the label side? I
mean, honestly, coming into rap, I told this story before. I
tried to sign you at Def Jam. That's what it was. Def Jam
Yep, exactly. When Khaled was over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like before rap, before I got into whatever the industry is or into a label situation, my goal as a hustler was to sell 50,000 units and to get 15,000 a show. Cause I read somewhere that Joel Santana got 15,000 a show. I'm like, damn, that's cool. We do a lot for 15,000. And then to be able to sell 50,000 indie, cause I was like, I watched Master P, I studied like the independent successes what Jay and them did before they deal, and I'm like, that's impressive as an indie. If you could do that, then you can leverage a different type of negotiation when you go to the label. So I always wanted to go in that direction. When I did my Epic deal, you know, I was on the run. I had a case pending. My crime was in jail. I thought I was about to go do a lot of time, and I hid out. I went to my homeboy Tiny Copy house and hid in the house for 3 months.
So they signed you. They didn't know you had a warrant.
Nah, I didn't have a warrant, but somebody that I was involved in something with was in jail for the crime, and I knew the police was looking for me. He didn't tell on me, but they didn't put the warrant out so that they wouldn't alert me, but I knew what was going on.
Right.
You know, so I just was like, I'm gonna sign my deal to get this check and fight my case, truthfully. You know, and you know, by the grace of God, I got out of that situation. I ended up doing a probation violation. I signed my deal to Epic. We went to Jamaica to celebrate. We came back, and the police was at my store waiting for me the next day and took me to jail.
Why? Because you ain't get permission to leave the country?
Nah, not even that. It just was that I guess they heard I was back. You know what I mean? I guess they heard I was back in town. And I figured when I came back from Jamaica that I didn't have no warrant. Because I came back over the, you know, country lines and they didn't arrest me at the border. So I'm like, oh, I ain't
That's how you check your warrant. If I made it back,
you know,
I got a warrant.
Really, I'm like, I'm going to get my deal and I'm going to deal with this shit afterwards.
It's easier ways to check if you got warrants.
I call lawyers, they're like, I don't see nothing. So I'm like, all right, we going to see. But I was a little bit more confident. I didn't even come out the house till I got my deal. I sat in the house for like 3 months just to secure my deal. So I figured if I went to jail and it was a real case, that's gonna be the end of my opportunity.
Right.
So I did my deal, and as soon as I came back, I went to jail. And I fought my case for like 2 months in the county, got out, and I just came to New York and just started recording what became the Bullets Ain't Got No Names mixtapes. So I said all that to say.
And so you had a deal before the Bullets Ain't Got No Name mixtapes?
After Volume 1, I got my deal.
Okay.
So Volume 2, that was the one that Epic Records helped promote with Hustle in the House, and then we was like had a video on MTV, and we kind of took a incline, you know what I mean, and like fan awareness, I guess, or just people understanding who he was. But yeah, you know, I was under pressure when I took that deal. If I wasn't, I don't know what I would have done, but my goal was to stay indie and just, you know, like I said, try to sell 50,000. I had a map on my wall, and I was like, I'm gonna sell 1,000 units in each market. You know what I mean? And be able to sell 50,000 units. And when that didn't happen, I took my deal. I was sincere about working with Epic. I wasn't like, I'm gonna use these people. No, I wasn't looking at it like that. I'm like, this is how the cookie crumbled, I'm gonna go this route. But it was a regime change up there. And Charlie Walk signed me when Brandon Creed and a dude named Adam Granite was in that building. And then also Johnny Shipes. So it was a team of people, and then Jim McDaniels also. That was, you know, they believed in me. They had power in that building. And then when they left, it was a whole new cast that came in. And I mean, I'm sure y'all know what happened when the regime change happened at the label.
Right.
You know, you don't really get credit for what's already signed. And it's in your interest to bring new talent to the building. So they ain't dropped me, but I just had a convo with the general manager. I'm like, bro, I know how to get it out the trunk. You know what I mean? I appreciate what we done. Let's work for another year. And if we can't get the album out, just let me go back and don't hold my career up. Let me go back indie.
You compare yourself to down south pioneers on the album a lot. Percy Miller, James Prince, Brian Williams. What about them inspired you so much?
Just I could relate to where I saw they origin and where I saw the intention for them to go into music. I felt like that's what happened with me. Like I was knee deep in some shit, and I always had a passion for music. I was always a creative person. I really wanted to do music first before I got into the streets. And I was frustrated because I ain't had no studios. It wasn't no infrastructure on the West Coast. And it was like, it was pressure from outside, you know what I mean? And after a while, I stopped resisting it. But I always wanted to do music. So when I looked at people like, you know, Birdman, people like his brother, not just Bird, it's a team effort. You know, Jay Prince and Rap a Lot, E40 and Sick With It Records. I didn't mention him on the album, but that's another one. Jay-Z, Biggs, Dame. Everybody that was indie and that came out of the streets into the independent grind and then graduated that into being commercially successful. I could trace their steps. I don't know how this person who uncle was in the game, I didn't have that access, or who, you know, just had a relationship with a platinum artist. And that's no disrespect to nobody, but that wasn't my reality. I was like, go ahead.
And how did you link up with Atlantic? Because now you and Atlantic have a partnership.
Yeah.
What made you do that partnership?
We had been talking for a while. Once I got out of the Epic situation, I started doing the marathon mixtapes and touring.
You said a while. That must have been like 2-3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, no, for sure, like 2 or 3 years. And you know, I had a certain terms that I wanted to come into the building with. And so I met with Craig probably like 012, 013. And at the time, you know, they didn't feel like I could justify my terms, which was probably true, you know. So I kept working. We did the Crenshaw tape, and then at that point, we got back in the table. I mean, we sat back down at the table, and, you know, we figured out what the deal structure would be. And, you know, I did a couple more mixtapes, and then we actually inked the deal and, you know, delivered the album.
Did you keep that deal quiet because you wanted to keep giving the illusion of independence?
No, it wasn't the illusion of independence. It was just I had made the mistake prior to announcing the deal. And I realized people don't care about a deal. That's a business thing. People care about music.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, and what happens is that when you announce a deal, it's like a press window. You get like 30 days of press. They write about you, and I wanted that to roll into the album.
The album, got you.
So I didn't want to make no announcement until the album was turned in. We had a release date. So the announcement, which came December 1st of 2017,
right,
was the first piece of content. It came out with a single and with a video, and from then we was, you know, content up until February 16th was the album release.
Very strategic. I love the planning behind everything.
Thank you.
You talk about West Coast infrastructure. It was a period when you needed a Dr. Dre cosign to get out of the West. Why do you think that changed?
I mean, you could always use a Dr. Dre cosign, but just what you said, Dre, man, he built I call it an island. If you look at music, it's like 3 or 4 islands in rap music. You know what I mean? And a lot of things that you might not know, well, y'all know, but that the people might not know are connected to these islands. They connected. You got the like Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre Island, which you got to list all the artists. Tupac came under that. Dre, Snoop, Game,
Kendrick.
Well, yeah, Kendrick is a part of the Top Dog thing as well, but it connects. You know what I'm saying? And so then you got like the Lior, Def Jam Island, and that, not Island Records, I'm just saying Island.
Island.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you know, a lot of Rough Riders, Murder Inc., Rockefeller,
DMX,
you know, Kanye, and all the artists that came after Ye fall under that. And then you got, what's the other one? Whatever Happened on Sony, you know what I mean? And so, damn, I kind of lost train of thought about what you asked me. You was like the Dr. Dre thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was